I haven't been doing much with this hoop house in recent years because I've been gone for the winters, and I'm not going to replace the plastic. If somebody comes here and they want to take this over, they're welcome to replace the plastic. But this season, this volunteer squash kind of took over the place, and I just let it grow because it's a good ground cover. I mean, there's still a bunch of weeds in here, and there's also tons of winter squash in here. I don't know what this variety is. It's a volunteer from something somebody had planted here a couple of years ago. Probably some kind of heirloom variety, but it looks like a good keeper squash. And then the figs are still doing pretty well over there, and actually now that there's no plastic on the top, they're getting better watering because it's been a wet season. And so I think I've got a lot more figs this year. Let's go check it out. This one's not quite ripe, but this one's getting there. See all these figs on here. Basically at every node there's a fig. They're not ripe yet, and there's so many more branches than there's been in past years. And most of them have figs on them. Another reason that this squash is going nuts in here, this is one squash plant that's just everywhere, is because for the last few winters there have been goats in here. And so not only goats, but I think also some kind of pigeon has been kept in here. And so they've just been pooping, and their manure and everything has just made this really rich soil. So one new thing that I have in the vineyard this year is this electric netting. And in recent years, I've found that my harvest plummeted because of raccoons and possums getting into my grapes. And I have bird netting that I put around my grapes every season to keep the birds from eating all of them. And that mostly works to keep the birds out. But what I found was that the raccoon and possum populations have been growing in the last few years because, you know, we create this predator-free habitat for them and also feed them. And so their numbers have increased, and I found they were eating a lot more of my harvest. And what they would do is they would go and break holes into the bird netting and just ruin bird netting that's plastic, costs a lot of money, and they just ruin it. So last year, Dancing Rabbit in general got this grant from this Mycelium Foundation, and part of that funding I was able to get to make some improvements to this vineyard because I was just like ready to give up, and I was like, there's not any point in doing this anymore if I'm going to get 10% of my harvest. So that allowed me to invest in this electric netting, and it's really been a game changer. I mean, this stuff was a game changer in my garden to keep the raccoons out of my corn, and now it's been a game changer this season to keep the raccoons out of my grapes because they've gotten nothing in here. And it's pretty easy to maintain. You know, as with the bird netting, it's like it's made of plastic. You know, there's bad things about it that I don't like, and who knows how long it will last. I'm going to try to bring it out here only when I need it for the time of season, only when I need it, and then keep it out of the sun so that it doesn't break down and it lasts as long as it possibly can. But it's really made a huge difference, and that's just kind of the situation that I'm in. So this year, I'm going to have a really good harvest of grapes, and it's thanks to this electric netting. And I've probably said this many times before, but you know, a big part of the reason why I have this vineyard here is because, you know, I drink alcohol. And I don't drink a lot, but I do drink alcohol. And this alcohol that I can produce from these grapes is from our land. Like, the sugars come from our land, and I make it with yeast, and so it's very local, and I know where everything came from, and that means something to me. I can't necessarily make the quality of wines that they can make in some other countries, but I don't know, there's just something that tastes really good about your own wine and knowing that it came from here, where you are, and you know exactly what's going on to it. So you can see that basically I've got this fortress now around my vineyard. So I've got the electric netting here, and then I've got the bird netting inside. But you can see there's all these grapes in there that are perfectly fine. They're not getting eaten by raccoons or birds. So they'll be there for me to make into wine or juice or whatever I want to do with them. It's really good. Sweet and juicy. I have to say that electric netting is just a game changer out in the vineyard. Normally, I would never have been able to get melons like this from the vineyard. I tried to plant them in the past and they all get eaten through. Something eats into them. And these were all just like sitting there falling off the vine, ready to eat, perfectly ripe. So I'm really happy. The only problem was that bed that I planted my squash and melons in this year was not very fertile. I need to get some manure, and that is one of my plans this season, is to get a big load of manure. I'm going to spend about $1,000 on manure and composted manure, and drop it in between the rows in the vineyard, just so that I can add that fertility, not only for the vines but for anything that I intercrop with the vines. So hopefully in future years that will mean a lot more production in the vineyard in general. So I'm taking a little break. Don't do this very often, but I'm headed to Ella Ewing Lake, which is a little tiny lake nearby Dancing Rabbit, and I go fishing there. Granted, this area does not have anywhere near the fishing opportunities that St. Pete and Florida does, but it tends to be a pretty good lake for fishing. I usually catch lots of fish when I go here. There's largemouth bass and crappie and bluegill, and so we're going to check it out today. You can barely see through the windshield of this car because the windshield wipers need to be replaced. It's once again the Passat, the piso shittiest car in our vehicle co-op, but it was the only one available. Usually people don't want to use it even because it's so crappy. It's so quiet here. Pretty far out in the country. And there's just nobody here. All you ever hear here is the sound of nature. I'm out on the lake. Super quiet. Made a few casts. I already got one bite. My first fish. Caught it kind of out in the middle. Pretty big. I'd say like probably 15 inches or so. Nice one. I'm probably going to keep a fish that I catch close to the time that I'm leaving, if I do catch any close to the time I'm leaving. I just don't like keeping them in the basket for too long, having them suffer, so kind of let these ones go that I catch at the beginning. Well, I've spent a couple hours here. Didn't really get any more fish or bites after that one fish. And I hooked a couple fish, and then one jumped out and got off the hook, but it's been really slow. I don't know if I came here too late, but it's been a nice day. It's been a beautiful day, nice and cool. I wanted to get this fishing trip in before it got hot again, which it's supposed to in the next couple of days. And so I got this nice little fishing trip in. I mean, I mostly fish just to get out here. It's a reason to get out into nature and enjoy this beautiful place and listen to the woodpeckers and all the other animals out here. So it was fun. This is why I gotta harvest, because there's some bug that comes along and like sucks the juice out of them, and if I wait too long then there's like no juice left in any of them. Stuck. It's a little cricket dog. Right by the grapes. She laid down right next to all these grapes. What's she doing, Cricket? What you doing? Any sniffies? Oh, that's a stuff. Oh, such a good girl, Cricket. Good girl, she says. I'm just relaxing. It's getting very hot. Grapes. What you doing, kitty? Huh? What you doing in here? Okay. Got these figs. Oh, there's a couple of them in here. Leave these ones on. These other ones on. A couple more here. Didn't even notice these ones. This is a whole stem that I haven't even been washing. See what we got over here. I think there are a couple left on this one. There's a couple on there, still ripening. And there's this one down here. I guess I'll take that one. I don't know if it's any good. What's it doing? Sweet. So it's been a busy season and it's winding down now, and I'm putting everything to bed and getting ready to head to Florida. I'll probably be in Florida by the time I post this because editing always takes a while. Of course, I'll continue my hardcore sustainable life there and hopefully find some good stuff to make videos of for both this channel and my Instagram. If you haven't seen my Instagram yet, you should check it out at Instagram/hardcoresustainable. I've been doing some shorter vlog videos on there that kind of fill in the gaps and give more regular and timely updates on my life and what I'm up to. And thanks again to my patrons who have been keeping up with me in this flurry of new videos on my channel. If you want to support my channel and help fund the production of videos like this one, you can become a supporting patron on Patreon. Give the video a thumbs up and share it on your socials, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. See ya!